better?
Yeah.
So this is, for those of you who are coming up to the mic, this is the way you hold it in your face. So I'm Adrienne Lauby, I'm with Homeless Action. I just spoke to a health worker who's been down at the camp for the last week and asked her, what's the condition of people inside? What's going on in there? She said there's a person with broken fingers who is cleaning up their camp. There's people with out-of-control diabetes, people who are in such trauma that they really can't manage any kind of anything today. This is just a little snapshot of what's going on inside the camp today as we see this police presence, these threats of arrest and citations. Basically, people are being forced out of what has been a safe haven. And this health worker gave some tickets, some bus tickets, and said, gee, I hope they make it to the clinic today. Well, of course, we hope they make it to the clinic too. And why are not the advocates who have been there, the Homeless Action and the Community Action Coalition advocates, inside this fence where we can help people, the people that we have been meeting and talking to over the last month? Why aren't we? Because the city, the county, the Parks Department have decided that they need to control this little area. They need it to be just how they need it. This is not safe for the people involved, and we protest that. But really, deeper protest is what is actually going on here, which is this is the 5th large encampment that has been cleaned out since last August. And we see those people over and over again. We saw them on Homeless Hill, then we saw them on 6th Street, Underpass 101, then we saw them in the Roseland camp, we saw them at Doyle Park, now we're seeing them along the Rodota Trail. They have no other place to go. And you will hear, oh no, we have shelter beds. This is, number one, untrue. They may have 1,000 shelter beds of some kind in their homeless system, but they have 999 people sitting in those beds. And they have a waiting list on almost all of those beds. Another 999 people who want to be in those beds and have been told, no, we don't have space for you right now. There are 2,000 people every night in Santa Rosa and Sonoma County sleeping outside. And there is no plan for their safety. This 100 or so people that have been at this camp are just the tip. They're just some of the people who have said to each other, it's safer for us, it's better for us to be together. And that's why they come here. I just want to say one more thing, which is the cost of this effort today. This fencing, which just came up after we have asked for a porta potty. We put a porta potty down there and they took it away. They have not allowed basic sanitation for this camp of 100 people who've been here for a month. And yet they can come down here with their police cars, their overtime, their Parks and Rec people, their rangers, and this ridiculously expensive fence and do it in a day. This is a misuse of taxpayer money. So we have been interviewing people for the last 3 or 4 days, just trying to get a handle on who's here, what they want, and I want to give you some statistics, and then I'll turn it over. 10 of the campers, we had about 89 originally who are here. It's significantly less because a lot of people wanted to not be part of the circus today. 10 of those people did not want shelter, and they said, I'm not going to tell you anything about what I'm doing. But 61 of them wanted permanent housing. And I want to say this because there is a lie that those people who are not in shelter don't want to have shelter. They don't want to be in a house. They're some sort of weird outlaw people who want to live outdoors for the rest of their lives. This is not what we found. 48 of these campers wanted one of us, an advocate, to be in their conversations with the county and the official host team. So they do not feel entirely safe talking to the officials. 20 campers requested disability accommodations. And 46 of these campers gave permission to lawyers to access their information regarding accommodation and shelter. So these are people who feel vulnerable and feel like a lawyer is a good idea. I'm going to turn it over to some people who have more knowledge, of been down here, especially in the last week, talking to people, have relationships with a lot of the people who are facing this eviction today. So let's start with Scott Wagner.